All right, we are live and welcome to the Angular Q&A coding live stream. I'm one of your hosts, Mark Texan, and I'm joined by the just simply wonderful colleague, friend, and overall great human being, Mr. Jeremy Elbourn.
Hello, Mark.
Hello. I tried to cut down on the flattery this week. Just make it minimal flattery, but still flattery to that point. All right, we got a lot of stuff.
You could just say and Jeremy's here too, I guess.
I can't because I need the people to know that it's like they're special, man. Sorry, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. All right, we got some people already in the building. Patrick in the building. What's going on, Moda? How are you? Chris D in the building. What up, though? How are you? What's good? We already got some questions. Wait, what? Hold on. What's up? Michael Small in the building. Community member extraordinaire. Oh, I thought this person was yelling at us. I thought Busan was yelling at us, but he's not. They're not yelling. Okay, that's cool. I like it. All right. Ivan, what's going on? Justin White in the building. What's up? Hey, you know what was weird about the whole documentary thing that was just like mind blowing? We got to be a part of it. I mean, like it's incredible. I can't believe we got to be a part of that. Jeremy, how did it feel being famous?
Never has famous been stretched so thinly.
Oh man, yeah, but you're famous now. You're very, very famous, Jeremy. Everybody saw you. Let's see. What's up, Daniel coming in? What's up, Santiago in the building? Jerome, hello, Ali, Stanley, Andres. All right, Fidele, how are you? Juan, how are you? Ian, what's up? What is up? Hello from India. What's going on? Halim, what's up? So many people in the building. Babatunde, what's going on? By the way, we got to give a big shout out to Babatunde. Babatunde just joined the Angular GDE program, was able to successfully pass all the interviews, and we're looking forward to seeing what Babatunde brings to the community. Babatunde is very smart, very driven, very excited. He's a part of it. Arjun, what's going on? Murali, what's up? How are you? Wow, Marcel. Okay, friends. Blockish. I can't say it. Hello from France. A lot of people from France in the building. France. From France. Le France. Okay, hello. Young Bobby, what's up? Look at that studio. I mean, it is crispy. Hello from Toronto. What's going on? Brazil. Hey, let's go back to this comment about the studio setup. Earlier this week, I was in a meeting where Jeremy was attending, and I laid out my plans to update my setup to have like a background. And then Jeremy potentially saved me from poisoning myself. Oh man. That's real. He may have saved my life because I was gonna take some shipping pallets, some large ones, and then like cut them up and like make them into like a background that I could have as an alternative to the paper. So that's just paper. And Jeremy was like, "You do know that they coat those with toxic materials?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I did not know that."
You gotta be careful with pallet wood.
Yeah. I don't want to die. Thanks, Jeremy, for saving Mark. That's good. All right, friends. Let's go. Where's Esther? Oh, I thought that was Esther. Where is Esther? Yo, Devin from the Angular team in the building. What's up, Devin? Devin, you have to get in on some of these streams.
Yeah, we can pull him in the stream right now.
Devin, if you want to come on and hang out with us, I'll send you the link and you can join us on the stream for a little bit. But with no big pressure, but still. Wow, you're watching in the middle of the night? All right. I'm talking a lot because I'm very excited because we're going to do something very cool today. We're going to write some code.
Yeah, Mark's going to code this week, and I'm just going to heckle him.
Not heckle. Support, encouragement, and guidance. Okay. I was just shooting a shot on that. Okay, friends, I'm having a hard time right now because I'm getting over some type of virus that I contracted traveling to California last week, and so that don't heckle me because if I start laughing, I'm gonna start hacking up a lung here, and I don't want to like hack. But we promised last year, so last year and even the year before, lots of people kept mentioning. Hold on, I need some water. There's some extra water in here.
Yeah, stay hydrated.
Yeah, stay hydrated, friends. So here's what happened. Many years so far, the stream. We're in our third year of the stream, I think, Jeremy.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, I think it's third year of the stream, and it's only getting better and better. Um, we said that we build an app from like soup to nuts, right? From the beginning to actually even getting to be deployment ready, right? And we kept saying we're going to do it. Today we're going to start.
Now you got me looking up the phrase soup to nuts. Where did that come from?
You never heard that before? Soup to nuts?
I've heard of it. I'm just like, it struck me in this moment as like, that's a weird phrase.
Yeah. Yes. Hylim, you know what? Your first question. Okay, I gotta answer some questions while you're looking up soup to nuts. Thank you, Patrick, for telling me to get well soon. Thank you. Roadmap for 2025. We actually had a live stream last week or the week before last with Miko Getchev, and we talked at length about roadmap and questions and everything. So you can watch that live stream. It's only 1 hour, and it's question after question after question. Miko was a brilliant champ in the fact of just answering your questions relentlessly. Just really coming into the building. So that's really great. Other than that, let's see. Is my computer set to be on do not disturb because I do not want anyone to message me? Okay, do not disturb. Okay, cool. I do not want anybody messaging me while we're talking. All right, so let's get to this app. Jeremy, want to see the app we're gonna build?
Yeah, what are we building today?
All right, it's not exactly this, but it's what I came up with. Let me share my screen here. Oh man, I can't believe I said that. I hate to say that. I try not to. Okay, let's see. Wait, we got some people in the building. Let's go. Evgeny, what's up? Good to see you. I'm gonna share my screen. Slide note. Share screen. All right, I don't want to share. I just want to share a tab though. Oh, that's terrible.
What are you using for your code editor?
The one and only code editor that I support right now. That I support. That not that it supports it, that I support. Let me be super clear. I don't want anybody to be mad at me about this and like, Mark said this, Mark said that. Okay, give me a second. I have to do this in a way that doesn't. Okay, so I can do that now. And this is just like a prototype. This won't be the final version, so no one be too committed to any particular part of this. Okay.
All right, well, you going. Let's see. I can answer some questions. Let's see. Halim asked, what's about 19.2 and what do we expect to see in Angular v20? Let's see. So for 19.2, I think their HTTP resource experimental API just got merged. So that's probably going to be the like banner thing there. And for v20, I kind of want to say just wait and see. There's a lot of stuff that is currently in either developer preview or in experimental that I think we're going to be promoting up to the next level. So there's going to be a lot of that. And I don't know, some more interesting stuff. I won't say just yet. I think we're still a little far out from v20, and so I don't want to promise anything if it ends up not making the cut. But there's a couple of exciting things in there.
Yeah, a couple of things. Okay, check this out. This is our app. Do not look at the images. The images don't matter. All right, images don't matter. But if I click on some stuff, the idea is like a tow truck manager, and we'll get some like. I mean, I don't care about the charts and stuff, but I do care about this idea of some like views, right? Where you have like a list view, and then we can go from like a list view into like a detail view at some point. We can see some like, these could be like components that we can throw in there, or they can just be a part of one component, right? We get to describe the architecture ourselves of what we want out of it, right? We get to choose all of that.
So what is this? Did you make this?
I generated it. Yeah. I did not make it though. I didn't have time to I don't have the skill to design like a designer like that. But I think it's interesting to be able to represent some of the stuff because what I would love to do for us is not only show how to like do this and you break it down to components, but maybe using some of the tools that we have in the Angular CLI, some of the primitives from the CDK, for example, to achieve some of these things. And this is something we'll build over time. This won't be like we'll finish all this in 1 week. We'll just keep building on it. We'll add some auth at some point. We'll add some live data, but I think it'll be a fun project. Chat, what do you think? Is this a fun project to embark on, or are y'all mad? How y'all feeling? Y'all excited about it? Tell me more. I want to know. What do you think, Jeremy?
I'm still unclear on what the app does.
What the app does? Me too. I don't know what it does.
So we're deciding what the app does, but we're just going to build an app.
Is it going to be? It's a good question. Is it going to be a full stack app? So that's a really good question. We can make it a full stack app. It's possible, right? It's totally possible to make this full stack app. So we'll start with this screen, right? And then we'll do it where we can do routing and stuff. And I think that it'll be interesting. So, like, what are the detailed view for the unresolved incidents? And then once 19.2 is out, we can bring in HTTP resource, for example, right? So, like, there are lots of ways to do this. But the idea is that this is like a dashboard for managing a tow truck company. And then we can build out the features ourselves. All right, that was me waiting for Jeremy's like silver approval. I don't think we've earned this quite silver approval yet, but we're gonna just make some stuff. We gotta write some code. Jessica says, "I'm mad." What's up, Jessica? welcome to the building. I appreciate that. I know both these people. We know you too. All right, I'm just looking at all the comments. All right. I got to start coding because if we keep talking, we're never going to get. See, I just said that. See, I just said that because I know you all. I know the community. They want me. It's like, all right, no more talking. Let's get some coding. All right, fine. Jeremy, you want to answer some questions while I get my stuff set up?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's say Sorrow here asks, what is the best option for state management in Angular? There are no best options for anything. Everything is always specific to you, your team, your product, the thing you're trying to build. There's never a best solution. You can use just signals by themselves. Some people like to use ArcGIS and observables by themselves. Some people like to use state management libraries like NGRX. They're all different tools. They have different pros and cons, and you have to choose the one that works best for you. Let's see here. So Patrick has been posting this question multiple times. Don't spam the chat, but I will go ahead and try to answer this. Will change detection run if a property that is not present in a template? So I think I'm just going to give a general explanation here of like how change detection works with signals, and hopefully that will answer this. But the idea is that Angular still today does change detection similar to the way that it always has, right? Where there are certain things that cause Angular to do change detection and update your template. And in the past, Zone.js was the thing that caused that to happen. And that would be monitoring events and set timeouts and promise resolves and network requests. Anytime something like that happened, Angular would run change detection. If you're using zoneless, then there are a smaller set of things that will cause change detection. So events will cause change detections, and signal mutations will cause change detection. And so if you're using like zones and signals, then yeah, like you can mix signals and zones and you can mix signals and raw properties, and that will work because zone will still handle that change detection part. If you're not using zones, then it depends on when that raw property is being updated. If it's being updated in response to some event that is being handled in an Angular component, then that should still work. If you're doing it in something that Angular doesn't know about, maybe not. And that's where you would use something like, mark for check to indicate that to Angular that something has changed and it needs to run change detection. There's a question here. Is it possible to use web components such as those built with it in Angular without disabling all unknown element checking? I'm assuming that's meaning to ask. Unfortunately, not today, right? So right now, by default, Angular will throw an error if it comes across an element that it doesn't know about. And you can turn that off if you want to use custom elements, but you're turning it off for everything. And we don't yet have a way to basically do type checking for custom elements where you could provide, say, like a DTS file for a custom element so that Angular knows it exists and can type check on it and not give you an error for an unknown element. Adding support for that is in our backlog. It's unfortunately not super high priority on the backlog, though. There's a bunch of other stuff that is, stuff we're going to do first, things related to signal forms and signal integration and router and on and on. Let's see. There's a question here. In the past, StatTable was updated to have a native HTML table implementation. Are there plans for Mat Dialog, CDK Dialog might need to use native APIs now that they exist? It depends. The tricky thing here is that changing these components is a huge breaking change, especially if like using the native dialog element or using the new popover API. And when we make breaking changes, the Angular team has to go and fix, we can't just like add a major version and be like, it's a breaking change, deal with it. Inside of Google, we need to be able to go and update all of the code and the tests that depend on this behavior so that it's not broken before we can land that change. And that's really hard. And so for things like this, we often tend to, we have to make a judgment call about whether an improvement would be enough of an improvement to warrant the breaking change and the effort needed to go like fix it up and give people migration tools and guidance. Jessica asks, if you were to get another dog, what kind of dog would you get and what would you name them? I would want to get another Labrador, and I don't have, I don't have a name. That's gonna be something I pick with my partner, but probably I like Tally as a name for a dog. Mark, how are you doing? Are you coding? What's going on?
I was cheating. I was coding already without you all. No, I was just creating my project. And I actually switched my this other thing too. Let's see, open.
All right. We got a question here. Are we planning to do an RFC for the resources API? Yes. I just reviewed a draft of it this week.
I wonder if I annoy the team when I review our drafts for things like that, because when I usually review, I try to review from a point of view of somebody who knows everything and then somebody who knows nothing about it. Like, okay, what's the reasonable expectation of like things? And so sometimes I'll like nitpick, like, so we could say this, but I think we could be more clear in case this person reading has never even heard of this thing. I know that can be annoying, but I'm always thinking about the streets. Oh, I don't want to upgrade right now.
We really mean it when we say we do no preparation for these streams.
Yeah. Well, I did like a little bit. I was like, let me make a UI. Wait, there's some other questions in there too.
Yeah, I'm looking for good questions.
Every question is a good question. What's coming new to Angular?
Oops, I meant to click this one. Wait, hold on. The chat keeps moving while I'm like trying to click a chat question. He's like, explain a bit about HTTP resource. So if you have seen our previous stream, we talked about the resource API. If not, I'm going to go ahead and I'll present a page. From
okay, and after you're done, I'm ready.
All right, so I'll answer this. Where's my... All right, and then I can... So, we talked about this in our last stream. So I'm not going to go too in depth, but we have this resource API. And the idea behind resource is that you can model some like an asynchronous request or an asynchronous fetch or something like that as like a reactive request and a loader function, and you get back kind of reactive values out of it. And this is a very generic API, right? Like this is for any asynchronous action. It's up to you to put in your loader function here, whatever HTTP call you might be making, or maybe you're using a library like Apollo or something like TRPC or whatever else. You would just put that here and build your own like loader function and everything. HTTP resource is a more specific type of resource that is specifically for making HTTP requests. And so rather than just having like a raw request object here that could be anything, and a fetch or a loader function here that takes that request and does any arbitrary thing, you are kind of giving a reactive URL or a reactive HTTP request, and you're not providing a loader at all. That is just built into the HTTP resource because it knows exactly what it's doing, and it will give you the result of that HTTP request back. All right, Mark. You are.
Oh, I already started coding, bro.
I'm gonna add you to the stage here. What do you got?
I'm coding already. All right, friends. So here's what I've done so far. I made our tow truck app. And then did you know in Angular, wrong screen. Okay. Did you know in Angular, there's a way when you do ng-new to do a minimal build, which is really nice because look at this. That's all it came with. Isn't that nice? Super minimal. So if you're starting, you can do a minimal build. And that's what I did to create this. All right. And guess what else it does? In the simple browser, and the simple browser is a part of VS Code. And then the starter app is also minimal. So for me, this is going to help us to just start without having to think too hard about all the other little parts of the application. So let's talk about what we're going to do. And I put something here for us to look at. Let me go to in the presentation here. So we don't need these screens for now because I think we're going to have enough. All right, let me get out of presentation mode because it's actually better this way. So how would you do this? And I'm not saying you, I technically mean me, and then anybody who wants to watch out. So if I'm looking at this screen, this dashboard, I guess you could say up here, we would have like our, oh, come on. I wanted the middle to be empty. Hold on.
On the left, in the middle.
Left in the middle. There you go.
There you go.
Transparent. And then I want this to be red. Okay. Or orange, something bright. That probably looks horrible. All right, I see a header. What else do you see, Jeremy? I see a bunch of things. So I would argue, depending on where this data comes from, this section could either be one component or multiple components.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at this is, I think, what people would typically call like a masonry layout. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, for some styles of masonry layout, it depends on exactly what you're trying to accomplish. You can use CSS Grid, which honestly I'm not very practiced with. That came out onto the scene after I had kind of stopped writing as much CSS.
Yeah.
You could also do something like this with, I think you could do this with Flexbox if you were a little bit cheating with how you do some of this. So, like, for example, on the bottom, like the row, there's like 3 rows here.
Yep.
But if you were to instead model this as like, oh, well, there's actually 2 rows, and then this bottom row is just thicker, and it has these items that are vertically stacked, and it's just like each one is a little bit bespoke. You could do it that way.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't really care about the masonry layout so much. Personally, like, my emotions are like, I don't care, but I'm gonna do it this way because I want to make something, because that's what you do. You make it work, you make it right, you make it fast. See a lot of comments, it's too much red. It don't have to be red. I just, this is just like a generated thing. Okay, so we got to make something though, because I do not want to let the streets down. We have to make something. We'll come back to router outlet. We don't need you for now. We actually don't need you for now. And guess what? We don't have any imports for right now, which means you can get rid of this for now. All right, everybody, let's keep this party going. So Jeremy and I have a disagreement about this all the time. I'm going to go section, even though I believe that the article tag is fair use here.
Article is for articles.
That is one use of article tag. Article also stands for anything that can be put standalone, right? So if I could put something as a standalone thing, I can make it an article. Well, we disagree, which is fine. It's just fine. It's fine. All right. Like, I'm totally fine with that. I don't know if this is gonna do my HMR for me. Oh, it does. Look, like, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Because it's a simple browser. I didn't know if it like worked normally. But yeah. We both are articulate about articles, Jessica says. Okay, so we got our this thing at the top. And if we say there's 3 rows, I'm just gonna say, just for my own, this is how I work, and you can do whatever you like. Okay, so got that row. Then we got this row, right? And then however we lay it out later on, I don't really care about until it's time to get a little bit more specific. So that bottom row, what will we like? Because I want to do something here for my own way of thinking about how it needs to go. So we'll say this would be high level stat row. Okay, high level stat row. And then down here would be my like, what was down there? Some more charts. I know it's not completely accurate, but again, we don't have to build it like pixel perfect to the like the design there. Okay. Let's see. Only. All right. Add an SVG tag. You want me to add it? Hey, live. You want me to add an SVG of what, that truck? Is that what you want? Where can I get that from? I know how I can get away.
Truck. Here you go. Yeah, it's a Unicode character.
What is? Oh, let's go. All right.
Put it in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, here. See if I can copy. I see it there, but can I copy? Probably not. That's all right. All right, but for now, I put a car in there, and then we'll come back and that's we get them to be inline and not angular about this. Gabriel, what did I just say? I said we're going to make something start to work and we're going to break it down. First, we got to get stuff on the screen. But I get what you're saying, though. Like, I definitely don't think this whole thing should be inlined 100%. Just make a screenshot, add it to the image. It's interesting to see how other people work because I'm not even thinking about the images. I'm more thinking about like just getting things like working. So do I want a stat component? Because I feel like these components have the same, you can't really see this, but you see that they all have like the same thing. They have a title,
yeah,
have some data, and then
like you want a little card component probably, right? Or not necessarily even a component, right? Like that might just be a CSS class.
What CSS class? Or like the style?
Yeah, just like the box shadow, maybe like a little bit of light gray border.
Oh yeah, no. The looks. I'm thinking about the data that's represented here, and then because they're the same size, like we can style them the same. But I'm thinking, make this once and then make it repeatable, and then when I change it, it's changed everywhere, right? So that's why I like it as a component. What do you think? You disagree there?
I mean, yeah, that's a good way of doing it.
All right, so I'm gonna make that. So how do you use a computer? So first thing I like to do is type man use computer. No, I need to stop playing with people in this these chat. They'll be really mad at me. ng generate component, and then we're gonna say, what do you call that? Like a StatCard component? I call it StatCard. Oh, I want to do inline style. Is it plural? Inline template. I can't remember if these are plural. That's what I'm gonna do a dry run and see if it complains. Yeah, I knew it. Is it inline style or inline temp? Inline style flag angular. I do not remember this by heart. Oh, it is inline style, all one word. Oh, interesting. I just know it exists. All right, and then I guess this is inline template, no dash.
See, while you're doing that,
yeah,
I can just quickly. Hayden Pickering has a whole article about the article tag.
Yes.
Think of article as defining a forum post, magazine or newspaper article, or blog entry, to quote the specification's first few examples, while inside another HTML document. So,
okay.
just another piece of evidence here.
So you're saying that is the that's the answer you're going with? Is that it's only for like blog posts and stuff?
It's for, yeah, like I kind of want to say like published content, but published is maybe a little bit too strong of a word, because like forum post could also count.
Okay, I rest my case then. All right, so this should just work. Okay, what am I typing wrong here? There we go. Boom. That was a lot to not get what I wanted, but so
did you know WebStorm has this little thing you could just like right click and say generate component?
yeah. However, here's the magic. People are learning that our CLI has all these cool features. And so that's what I wanted. You see, look at that. Bop, bop. Nice and clean, nice and crispy. Okay. So let's do the things we got to do. So this thing takes 3 pieces of information. It takes like a header for sure, right? Which is going to be an input. Should be required. And then it's a type string, but I know if I put it in here, type inference will be fine.
Yep.
I know. I like to telegraph for people so that way they know what I'm talking about. And an input is the way that we are able to pass in data into components. For instance, if you're new to Angular, that's how we pass in data into a component, which helps it to be more reusable. We got the headline, we got the data. Now that's going to be weird. I'm gonna leave it as a string for now, but we will refine the type as we go further, right? And then what do you want to call that last line, Jeremy?
Footer.
You just want to call it the footer? All right.
Yeah. You can do like hint text or something, but that's a footer.
Yeah.
Also, looking at this is like very poor contrast ratio, not good for accessibility.
Yeah, I don't know, but yes. Okay, so I'll just do the footer for now.
Yeah, see, this is a lesson for you. Sometimes you'll get mocks from your designers, and you'll look at them and be like, "That's too low contrast," and you tell them, "Like, this is too low contrast. It's bad for accessibility." You make it higher contrast. Push back.
Push back. That's right. So this becomes a section, which I am totally into this section. Okay, friends, and then let's just display our stuff. I'm flipping back and forth. I apologize if that makes it distracting. So we got the title, text. Okay, so just 3 lines. So I can do a P to start, and if we find a better element, totally in on this, right? And so we say that our header, we're going to display that. And remember, because it's a signal, we have to use the function, which is awesome. And then we got our data, and then we got our footer. Oh, that's amazing. So now if we go back to our app component, can we just get 3 working in that? Can we get our StatCard working? So can we do app StatCard? And then
self-closing.
All right, self-closing, and we'll
you're gonna have to import it.
Yep, we'll get that. I'm gonna make everybody really mad. Import gonna go right up here where everybody can see it. Don't be mad. This is just,
Yeah. So I'm gonna answer a question real quick that's relevant to you just adding those inputs. So Kian asked, will Angular do something about input required signals having a value in the construction context instead of later on in it? Is that even possible? It is not possible. There is no way to make them have a value in the constructor context because they haven't been constructed yet, right? Like, so think about how the code in Angular looks, right? Like, so somewhere in the framework, there's some code that creates your component. It's going to say, component instance equals new, what's your component called, Mark? StatCard component, right? So somewhere in Angular, it's going to be, component instance equals new StatCard component, and then it's going to pass your dependencies into the constructor. And then after it's created, Angular has that instance, and it can set the inputs to it, but it can't set those inputs before the component has been created. So there's no way for it to do that. It would require a way of writing components that didn't use classes in order to do that.
Why are you mad? Oh, you were already in there. You were already in there. Okay, it's fine. Don't be mad. Okay, let's go simple browser. Cool. We are cooking. Look at that. That looks amazing. So I know that it's really hard to envision the magic unless we do some stuff. So let's do some stuff. Let's do some quick styling, but I do not want us to spend 6 hours on styling.
While you're writing CSS, I'm just going to answer some questions.
Please do.
This isn't a CSS stream. Let's see, what do we got here? So Julio asks, will templates ever have all TypeScript compliance syntax? Which basically, I think I'll frame this as, will we ever get to a point where the expressions inside of Angular templates are just full TypeScript? And I will say, like, this is something we would like to move towards eventually, getting to a point someday where those expressions are just TypeScript. Now, there are a lot of things that we would need to figure out in order to get there. One of the kind of most notable things about that is types are not plain TypeScript, right? In real TypeScript or JavaScript, that single pipe character is a bitwise OR. And so just from that, that would mean like, okay, you don't have pipes in like just a full TypeScript syntax. There's probably also some things we don't want people to be able to do inside of templates, such as creating a class declaration or a function declaration. And so we would still want to limit it in some way. But in general, the answer to the question is yes, we would like to get there someday. We've just got a lot of work we have to do to get to that point.
Okay, Jeremy, now that you stopped, the perfect time. I don't know the right thing to do here, so help me out. I want to style this section. Can I style it through styling the host, or do I have to actually call out that section and give it an ID?
So the section is not your host element. The host element is
it's something else, right?
Yeah, so it's at StatCard. That's your host. If you want to style the section, you can either say just section here if you're only going to have one, and you want it to apply to all sections, or you can put a CSS class on it and style that CSS class.
Let's do that for now because you're right. That's right. That is not the same thing. Good. Thank you for the we'll call this content. Thank you for the clarification. And then somebody said I don't have a width, which is why my like borders are collapsed or whatever. So yeah, you're right. You're right, Munir. I was thinking that too, but let's see. So, but the display should be blocked by default though.
For section, I think it is display block.
It is. No. What they were looking at was this.
What they're saying, yeah. So
well, now it's working.
Make host display block. They have a point here, which is all custom HTML tags are display inline by default. This was a mistake in HTML land. They really should have been blocked by default. And so if you have a display block thing inside of a custom element, which your app StatCard is, then you almost always want to make your custom element display block.
Yeah. Okay. So I got my cards here, and I want to get some stuff. I want to do some stuff. What's the fast way? I don't want to spend all the time fussing around with this. Can I do something interesting? Let me see something. All right. So I'm going to get rid of this for a second. It will make sense in a second. I'm going to try something really weird.
All right. So Mohammed here asks, how do you make an async provider like provide animations async? I'll say, go look at the source code for provide animations async. There's there's going to be a dynamic import in there that's requesting the bulk of the code. So go check that out. Let's see. I saw a question in here. Arjun asked a question. How is Angular better than jQuery? They're very different things. You can't really say one is better or worse than the other because they're doing entirely different, jobs. So jQuery is a pretty low-level library for directly interacting with the DOM, querying and modifying, whereas Angular is a much more comprehensive framework for building web applications with dynamic data and routing and like single-page application tile routing. And many other things. So they are different tools for very different purposes. So, as we'll always say about everything, there is no best thing. Generally, there is no absolute thing A is better than thing B, right? They're all different tools that have things they're good at and things they're bad at, and use the appropriate tool for the job, for the thing you're trying to build.
Oh, I didn't think I installed it pretty or any of the stuff that I need here. I think Ania mentioned that earlier that I didn't do that. And I think that I'm paying with, let's see, format with, yeah, prettier. Why ain't they reformatting it? All right. So here's what I did to save a little bit of time. I took a screenshot of our card. It was like, hey, Gemini, make these styles, because the important part is not, it's not like teaching you all how to do styles, or I'm not even teaching you all anything right now. Right now, we're just having some fun, right? But the important part is not about like the styles and stuff, right? It's about the angular part. And so I thought, let me just make this so we can keep going. Because if this works, we can refine these styles. But let's go. I mean, I'm like super happy with that. The colors are wrong. We can fix the colors so that way they're not so like hard to see, because I can barely see them myself. Right, the contrast is way off. But we got our stuff. That's what I think is interesting. Right. We got this stuff. All right, Jeremy, we're cooking. So now if I go back here for this row, so what I kind of want to do is just make this a flex row. I really do. So that way it moves around.
Yep.
Flex direction means that's what I really want to do. But why do you have styles there? Why can't I just do style and then do this?
It's styles.
It's still styles. It just now takes both.
Yeah, it takes a string, but it's still styles.
Okay, even better. Okay, so then can I get us a class real quick?
Let's see. I'm going to answer. There's a thing here. Ian asks, the output signal could have more examples of how it works. I'll say there is no output signal. Output is just a function that creates an event emitter. It is not a signal. And I think there should be some examples, the documentation for Angular.dev, our components guide. If you go to custom events with outputs, it just should have some examples there. So make sure you check out that page on Angular.dev.
No, Jose, I will not put the styles into an array. You know why? Because I only have one style sheet for this. I'm not cascading multiple style sheets. Only just the one. Only just the one. But if the need comes up where it should be, I will. But I'm only got the one. Yeah. And I love this like feedback, because it helps us to know like how you all are using Angular, right? Like we're like, oh, okay, you all do these things, right? This is great. But for me, in my mind, I'm just like, let's make this thing work. The styles are too big for this card though. Like these things are huge. So let's see, what can we do? Right? You see this, Jeremy? Doesn't that feel big?
I mean, that's a lot of styles. I feel like that's what you get if you have an LLM generate styles for you. It's just kind of go a little overboard.
I mean, it's generating something, but that's not what I care about the most, right? This is the one that I do not ever remember for flex. Is it align, justify items, or
yeah, the justify, and then there's align items and justify content. I always forget which is which. I just have to try both. It's not justify items. I think it's justify content.
See, I'm
not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
Does it not autocomplete when you just do justify?
No, because I'm not in my own separate style. So Emmet is taking over on my computer, at least. Oh, if I fixed it out. I'm not using grid. Phosphor, is that what that says? I can't see from back here. How dare you yell at me? How dare you yell at me? Never. All right. So our thing is coming along. So we got the top row done. And then it's actually able to use real data, which is what we wanted, right? And then eventually we'll get to this thing, this response by time by day thing. We'll get to that. Let's make another one. So we already have, so if we look at this, we got like 3 types of components. We got these stat sheets or whatever, these stat cards. Then we get these charts. I'll do these last. I don't know how to do it at all. So that'll be a fun thing to do. Like these different types of stats ones, I have no idea. I know Christian from the team made some like vector SVG like package where you can do things like this. Maybe we'll get into it, but let's make the one that we know how to make so we can get some momentum going. So let's focus on not this color, okay? I won't make it this color, friends. I promise. All right.
Yeah, it's just a table, I think.
Yeah, it is, right.
Card with table in it.
Let's make it. How should we source the data here? Because I think we got 2 tables. So we're going to reuse it. So we'll make a StatTable component. Let's do that. Let's get out of here. All right. So we're cooking. I like that. And so I'm going to do the same thing I did here, but instead of StatCard, we'll do StatTable. And then, like, I'm thinking about when I used to do product work all the time, I would do all my back end work first and have all my like APIs really nicely designed and everything. And then I would do demos to stakeholders, and they never cared because they always wanted to see something. And so that's why now when I design this way, friends, where I like try to get the UI looking nice, because if in my product development days, stakeholders did not care about the back end and how that stuff, when you're doing the greenfield projects, never cared. They were just like, no, what can you show me? And so I like to get the UI, and then they were much more willing to waive off the like, oh yeah, we can add the data. They would love to waive that off, but they did not like waiving off the UI. It was interesting. Did you ever come across that experience, Jeremy?
I mean, yeah. Like, I think people in leadership positions are very like inclined to judge things based on how they look. And so if you present a very flashy demo, even if it doesn't work, that will still get more traction than if you make something that is fully functional and looks like it was built in 1998.
Yeah, no, for real. There's some questions in the chat. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, what's up, yo? What's up, Matthew? Let's see. Tailwind. I don't know how to use Tailwind, but there's going to be something of me using Tailwind at some point. Tailwind would definitely speed things up. Okay. So let's answer this question. How would you decide how much you would generalize the StatCard component? For example, you could use content projection. You're right. In the StatCard to create the cards with the table. And then, wow, that's super smart. Okay, let me tell you how I think about it. Right now, I want to get it to work. And then what usually happens when you're in the middle of working on something, the limitations usually reveal themselves, and then you know what you need to do next. Right. But I don't want to spend too much time over engineering before I start, or pre-optimizing before I start, because I'm not completely sure of what the like pitfalls could be yet, right? And then with enough experience and like doing stuff, then you can kind of preview them, or not, kind of forecast what the pitfalls will be from experience, right? And so I haven't built components like this in a while, so it's like I don't know if I'm walking into a trap or not, but I think it's okay. But I might be, right? But yeah, that's my answer to that.
Yes. Like, I'd say like it depends on what you're using it for, right? Like if you're going to be very strict about what goes into a component, you can be kind of more formal and parameterize it. If you want to just have it be a frame for any arbitrary content you want to project in, something like content projection, NG content works fine.
Yeah.
Like every answer I keep giving, it's like, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
People wants to go to the 90s. Jeremy one time built a select on stream that used Windows 95's CSS.
Yeah, I tried. It didn't go very well.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Hopefully that cough did not come over just the stream, but if it did, I know it sounded super gross. All right, back to it. This will put more than one H1 on the screen. So should this be an H2, Jeremy, from an accessibility standpoint?
Yeah, you generally want to have one H1 at the top and then H2s for sections below that.
Totally can do that. And I didn't use a CSS reset. So we got our table title. We'll go here. And then this would be like table title, whatever the table title is. Right. And then we actually have a table. Now, here's a fun thing. Jeremy, do we want to like dynamically generate our table?
I mean, it depends on what the UI is trying to do, Mark, right? If you want to show always show a same, table that has the same 4 items, then you can just hard code those 4 rows. If you
No,
want
no, 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 no. No, I mean like I can give it a data set, and then it could take the properties of the object, make those the columns, and then the value. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then display the values.
that's doable if that's the app. Yeah, if that's the app you're trying to build.
I don't know what app I'm trying to build. I'm just trying to get some data. I'm
just build, no goals.
Okay, I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah. All right. Let's make it work, and then we can make it right, make it fast. All right. So we got like an actual table that we're gonna make, and then okay. I don't know what those are. Are those the same? Those are not the same.
All right.
So I can do
answer another question here with the same answer I keep giving. What's the best way to cache data with Angular? There's no best way. It depends on what you're trying to do. How long do you need that data to stay there, right? Do you need that data across multiple tabs? Do you need it to be there when the user comes back later, right? You have access to things like session storage and local storage, or you can just store things in memory. Do you want to store them in HTTP interceptors in order to be transparent to the components that are requesting that data? Do you want to store them in the components so that it's thrown away when you navigate pages, right? Like all of it depends on what is the specific problem you're trying to solve in your application.
I did this problem before. I just wrote it down on a piece of paper to try to visualize it. Excuse me. I did this problem before on stream, actually, and we were trying to figure out a way to do this with one for loop. Do you remember that? This was early days when we were trying to do speed run games every week. Do you remember that?
I think I vaguely remember.
And I was trying to get tables and column rows with one for loop, and I couldn't figure it out in the time.
Yeah, because it's a 2-dimensional.
I know, but I was trying to see if there's a way to do it, and then it ended up having to be like but you know how that goes, man. Can we see the form validation? We don't have any forms yet. Let's see. We don't have any forms, friend. Let's see. What form? There's no data. All right. So right now we're just getting display working. So I'm going to do something like this eventually, right? So at 4, and then we'll say call of, is it of or in, Jeremy, for at 4? I'll always get this wrong. Okay. Whatever the columns are, the columns will be some data, right? And then we'll track the column. Nobody yet right now. And then we'll do for each one of those, I think it's just a TR. No, wait, what? I'm saying that backwards.
Oh, no, you're right. TR goes first.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I see what you're saying, though. But yeah, you don't want columns in your outer for loop. You want rows in your outer for loop, and then columns on your inner, because the HTML structure is row column.
Right, that's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah. That's incremental. Okay. All right, so I got that one, and then I want to do right. Okay. Yeah, row of. Sometimes we'll have a rows, and then we'll track our row. And this will exist too. So everything will exist at some point. Is what I'm assuming, and we'll be okay with that. So before I even get my inputs in, if I get it working this way, then we can shape our data to match.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a dream, though?
You want me to answer a question while you're filling the rest of that out?
Go for it.
All right. So you ask a really loaded question here. So Matthew was commenting on this a little bit, but I wanted to bring it up on the stream. Are constant parts of the template re-rendered? And the answer is no, but I want to give a little bit more context because you can kind of know more about how Angular works to understand this. And so when you have a template in Angular, that works very differently than the way, say, like JSX works in something like React. So in React, the function in which your React component lives is a render function, and React runs that function over and over again over the lifetime of your application. And they have this system called like virtual DOM, where it's an optimization where your component re-renders every time, and then the virtual DOM says like, okay, what's actually different than what's rendered, and I'll only render the differences. Angular works a very different way. Your template in an Angular component is telling the framework, hey, here's the structure of my template. And Angular will internalize all of that and identify all of the spots in your template where dynamic stuff can go. And so anywhere you have a text binding, anywhere you have a property binding or an attribute binding, or like an if block or a for block, Angular will mark that location in kind of its own internal data structure. And for things like if blocks and for blocks, it will actually put a comment node in the DOM to mark it. And then when Angular does change detection, it looks at each expression, each place where it's rendering something dynamic, and it will update it only that place in the DOM, right? It does not re-render anything. It is making updates to the DOM only for your dynamic state. Whoops.
Okay, Jeremy, I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna take this out just for a second. Because I gotta remember. I just want to remember this part. And then I just want to get to like be on the screen. And then I feel like you do T head in here, and then you would do like a column. Like
so you would want your for over columns goes inside the for the rows.
I know. No, I want to display something. So I'm trying to remember the structure.
Okay.
And I just want to.
Yeah, the structure for a table is just like table. There's T head, which contains
Right.
TR, TH, and then T body.
Oh, okay. That's what I was. See, I'm doing it backwards. Right. That's what I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the last time I made a table, so that's why. That's what I'm trying to remember. I'm like, let me get it all. Okay, so you said it's T head, right? And then inside the T, then it's TR. But inside the TR, do we like put? I know we put TDs for table data. What's the one for the columns?
So TR is row, TD is column, but for the header, it's TH.
Oh wait, I disappeared.
Oh yeah, you're not on the stream anymore. You just I see your Elgato webcam.
Yeah,
thing.
hold on. I disappeared.
I also have an Elgato webcam.
Yeah, I have
All right, Mark's getting his video stream figured out.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I should be back. I wonder if my camera's acting weird. So anyway, so back to what I was asking you, because I really do not remember this. I mean, I can also look it up. I mean, just table structure, MDN, because I just do not remember, right? And then so if we just look it up, that's what I'm trying to remember. This stuff, because I know some of y'all be like, how don't he know what that is?
You're rusty, Mark.
You said what?
I said you're getting rusty.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to do this. The TH, there you go. This is the life I'm trying to live right there. You see this? This is what I care about. Ask Gemini. Listen, Evgeny, I would, but I actually want to just look at the documentation. That's what I'm saying. In the table body. Yeah, let's go. Now I can remember. Now my brain is like coming back to me. Now I remember. Because like, honestly, who will be doing stuff? Who'll be doing stuff. Okay, so look at that. And then that will go like right here.
So, while you're doing that, I'm going to answer some questions.
Answer them, baby.
Leo asked, will resource support async generators as fetcher functions? It's not something I don't know that we've thought about. I think the goal is to have kind of the most common use cases for resource baked into the framework. So, our low-level resource, an HTTP resource, and then we'll probably give guidance on how to build your own custom resources on top of that. Like, we don't want to go out and build like every resource in the world ourselves. So it will be more of a pattern that you can follow, and there's probably something you can do for this. But I think we knew the resource API does support like kind of streaming patterns, and so that's probably what you would use for async generators. Let's see, there was another one in here. should I still use module-based project structure after migrating to standalone, which is better for lazy loading? So in terms of lazy loading, it doesn't really matter, right? Like if you're using standalone everywhere, if you're lazy loading stuff, just lazy load the specific standalone things you need when you need them. If you're using the defer block, you don't have to worry about it, right? It will lazy load your standalone components, directives, and pipes as they are needed to render. For project structure, I had an RFC for updated style guide, and you can go and like look at the draft style guide that's in there. I still need to make some changes to it before it becomes final, but the project structure part is probably going to stay like pretty much exactly the same. And the idea is so you just organize your project by kind of different feature areas. The thing we really want to discourage is like don't have a folder that's like components and put all of your components in one structure. That is only the real thing the style guide is trying to prevent. Beyond that, right, like your project structure, you're going to get tired of me saying this, but like do the thing that makes the most sense for the project you're building. There are some patterns we see people sometimes fall into that we think like generally like there are no situations in which they're good. Like, and that would be like having a folder that's like components, a folder that's directives, a folder that's pipes. You generally want to be a little bit more specific than that and organize based on kind of what they're doing or how they're used. But aside from that, right, like it's your project. Organize it how you think is going to be suited to what you're building.
Oh, I know what I want to do now. Okay. Because, okay, so while you were answering that question, I was thinking about how can I structure the data so that way I can finish it. Because so the first thing I cared about was this. Like, I wanted to see this working. You know what I mean? Just like the structure being correct and semantic. That's what I really cared about. Right. And now that I know that that's working, I can start to build it out. But I was like, well, what data will represent this? So I'm just going to ask Gemini to model some data for me. Let's see. Actually, I'd like to be like this. Hi there. Can you please give me
someone asks here, well, when will the time come for Angular code to use functional components instead of class-based components? This is not something that we're fully committed to doing yet. I've talked about this in events before. I think that JetBrains JavaScript Day, I mentioned that like this is an area we're exploring. I think at NG Poland, some folks on the team talked about this. And I'll say once again, it remains an area that we're just kind of thinking about and exploring what it might look like, but we don't have any concrete plans yet to actually build it. And when we do, like, there will be RFCs and everything. And, something like function syntax components is not even necessarily like, maybe it will be that, maybe it will be something more like single file components, maybe it will be something new we've invented entirely. Like, all of them are, ideas that are on the table. We're just kind of playing around with, and you'll know when we have something to share.
Okay, great. All right. Great.
Yeah, right. What I've been saying too is like, I know people like to say functional components. I like saying function syntax components because I think functional is kind of its own term that has its own meaning separate than the way we would be using the function syntax.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Man, Jeremy out here being with the people. Okay, Jeremy, now we got some data. Now we got some data. So then if we just said this was the data that we got as a signal, then we just dropped it in here. I'm not putting a type. I know that's not the best. Should I make a type for this, or can we just keep going? You tell me.
I mean, for live streaming purposes, just keep on moving.
Keep on moving. I mean, I will
live stream like a shark.
I mean, that is like, yeah, keep on moving. I like that. All right. So then when I did this before, what I did to get the column names, and how do you become an Angular Pro? You keep working on it.
Yeah. You write a lot of software and you make a lot of mistakes, and then you do it again and you make slightly fewer mistakes, but also different mistakes. And then you just keep doing that until someday you die. But yeah, like, I don't know. This is I'll get up on like a soapbox a little bit and say, I think, you don't necessarily have to think of yourself as like becoming an Angular pro or like a React pro or a Tailwind pro. Just think of yourself as a software engineer or a web developer or whatever it is, and think of things like Angular, among many other tools, as a tool that you have in your toolbox. And just like, we've talked about, I do woodworking as a hobby, and I'm not very good at using hand planes. I'm much better at using my like table saw and my miter saw. And that doesn't mean I'm like, I'm not trying to go be like a chisel pro or a hand plane pro. They're all different tools. I have different skill levels with them. I use them for different purposes. So, think of yourself as trying to be a pro web developer and grow your skills and your tools, but also like pick the right tools for the right jobs.
Yeah. All right. So I'm doing something really bad right now. So remember earlier when I was like, I'm going to work on it. And then as I work on it, I will discover the things that are like good or bad for this. Right. Here's a bad thing that I'm discovering. I'm totally strongly coupling my data structure and types into this component right now, which is the point I wanted to avoid because I want it to be reusable. But this is assuming like incident data, right? So I'm like doing a lot of stuff that I shouldn't like do. So I'm going to take this type out actually because I don't know what type I can get. It should just be enumerable, right? That's what I care about. Because what I want to do now, let's just hear me out on this one. All right. So I'm not going to use that type. But what I do want to do is I just want to gather I don't see why I can't. And Jeremy, you could tell me why I can't do this. I don't see why I can't gather my properties, my key values as my headers, and then in one loop, and then in the second loop, iterate over the values.
I mean, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just trying to see what their like objection. How to skip to the resource fetch API call. You could make this yourself, I guess, and then go do that part. I don't know. I was looking at a comment like, I don't know. You could.
Yeah, I don't quite follow the question.
I think they want me to move forward. Maybe is that what the question is? And like not do this part. I mean, I don't know. You could here. Hold on. Here, I'll help you if you want to do that. Here is the UI. Take a screenshot real quick. Take a screenshot of this. Yeah, I'm gonna zoom it in for you. Yeah, there you go. Take a screenshot and then you can just do it real quick. All right, there you go. Catch that, and then you can do it on your own. I don't know. I can't follow the question, but I think that is a question. Okay. All right. Do I do that in my constructor, I guess? I don't know where else I would do that. But then, oh, wait, for signal inputs, are my data going to be available for me in my constructor?
In the constructor, no. For any inputs, your data has never been available in the constructor. It's always.
I know. I was asking in signal inputs did that change, right?
No, we talked about this earlier in the stream. Angular doesn't have a way of setting the inputs until the component has been constructed.
Sure. What was I doing in the beginning of the stream? What was I doing?
You were getting set up. You're prompting AI for
right. That's what I'm saying. I'd be. Oh wait, is implements on init, right? And then we get implements on init, and then I got to do instead of constructor, I do ng on init because I'm assuming that I may not have this data until then, and then I was trying to get my column. So now I can actually. Okay, fine. Give me a second. Let me just do what I'm trying to do here. And then we can all keep going. All right, now I know what I'm doing. Yeah, so Jeremy said earlier that we don't really prepare for these streams, and we don't like that. Like I didn't like pre-code this so I can come on here and look like a genius. I'm making it as we talk right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm just making it. And I'm trying to talk and be entertaining while making it. You know. Sam, the man, my son codes in this theme. You should. This is an accessible theme.
Yeah, it's a high contrast mode theme.
Right. Yep, that's why I do it, because it's on screen. So I always use a high contrast theme. This is great. All right. Anyway, like I was trying to say, so now I want to do. Let's see. I know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I want to get the properties, and these are all like JavaScript things that you do. So if I want to do my what's this one called? It's like date. It's too many rows. Data. So from the data, or this dot data, excuse me, then I got that, and then I really want to get like the properties of this thing. Dot, not entries. That's not the right one. I don't want entries. Isn't there a way to get the keys? That dot keys. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that'll do it. And then I get the dot keys, and that returns an array, which is what I want. Okay. So then I can say this dot columns dot set to be this. Okay.
Yeah, Mark, we lost your video again.
Man.
But I will say we're over the hour in case you want to use this as a convenient opportunity to.
There's nothing convenient about leaving the people. But if we have to end, Jeremy, I'm open to it, but I don't want to. I want to keep this party going.
Yeah, I can keep going for like another 20 minutes.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just keep going. Somebody said they love these streams. They make you feel like you're not alone. Let me tell you something. When you're trying to do something and people are watching you, you slow down a lot, because you're always thinking like, man, am I doing the right thing? And then you're trying to read comments. You're trying to do a lot of stuff. It's okay. It's a stream for beginners. Wait. Sure. Sorry, you made me choke. Oh my gosh. That was fun. I mean, I don't know if it was meant like that, but it was really funny. I was for beginners.
I mean, I said we were going to heckle you, Mark.
That's really good. I mean, sure. But to be fair, this is the first of many like steps in this one, the setup one. So we'll move faster next time. Maybe I'll be a little smarter next time.
See, I know we don't do a lot of prep, Mark, but I think we should come in if we're going to work on an app prepped with the CSS.
Wait.
Otherwise, we spend most of our time just writing CSS.
Yeah, no, that's why I asked Gemini for that part. Oh, it doesn't like my never here. Don't I have to like type these columns? Like if I type them?
Yeah, so right now with that, what you're doing right there with just the array, it doesn't know what kind of array it is.
Yeah,
so that's where you'd have to tell it.
Yeah, so I gotta tell it like it's a string array. Okay, and then it didn't think it's a never anymore. Okay, yeah. It's a string for now I can't even write the word code. That made me laugh. I can't stop. All right, why doesn't it like my thing right now? Okay, all right. Oh, it's an iterator. What? So I can't just do that. Okay, fine. I don't care enough to like fight you on this. Oh. Okay.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
So I can't do that for each on this because it's not an array. It returns an iterable. So I need to do the. I did my object.keys, which was what I thought that's what I was getting out of this.
Yeah, what is data there? You're saying like data.keys. What is data?
Oh, data is an array. Oh,
yeah,
so I gotta, yeah. All right. Okay, that's what I'm doing wrong. I'm like, wait, why don't you like this? So if data is an array, I got the keys of the array. That's not what I really want.
You want the key, you want object.keys of the first item in the array.
Right. Object.keys. I just put .key. So it's like that's what the API told me that I could do. But let's see. But then I feel like if I'm going to be safe here, shouldn't I should check if I have some.
Well, you're just hard coding the data right now, so you can leave it and then just let it be a bug later.
Because that's what it's going to turn into. The turn that okay, I'll try this invoke keys. I did. I'm gonna do a live stream again of me just coding because I really like y'all. I like the way people be interacting here. All right. Oh man. All right. Fine. Okay. He said Invoke keys. All right, you got it. All right, let's see if this works.
Mark is broken.
All right, that's good. Do we have a pipe to remove snake case?
I don't
Or
know.
capitalize?
Probably not.
All right, I'm not gonna make it because the people do not have the patience for me to learn another thing. All right, look, I'm gonna do one more thing and then we'll end the stream, Jeremy. Let me just display the values. Oh man, all right, so we got that working. Y'all just, I'm having a pretty good time. I'm having a lot of fun, a real lot of fun about this. Y'all could ask some more questions too. Jeremy is still in the building, so now I got to do.
We can do a lightning round of questions before we run out the clock here.
All right, I got a row, and each row for my rows is going to be some data. So I'm going to do like I want to take the call from up there, and I'm going to use it in my I'm going to use it in my row data. Actually, no, I would just do I'm supposed to put this data in here. So it's the data. No. There you go. And then I can say data row. Okay.
Let's see. Jessica asked, and for those of you who are in the stream and you don't know, Jessica is on the Angular team, so she's one of our team members. If we were struck by lightning, where would you like to be struck? In a deep cave underground.
What's the right way to do this? And why don't you like this? Probably called does not exist on StatTable. Why don't you like this all of a sudden?
Or perhaps in a hospital.
Oh, do I need to make this a variable of some sort?
What do you got going on? I haven't been paying attention to Mark.
No, you don't have to pay attention to me. No, I'm talking to myself. No, is this variable only scoped to these parentheses? I mean, curly braces?
Yeah, just like a regular variable.
Right. Because I want it again.
You need another for loop in your
I do have my second for loop.
You need a nested one.
Another for, like I need 3 for loops.
Well, yeah, you need one for the header cells and then one for the body because they're in separate places.
That feels like I'm repeating myself unnecessarily. I hear what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. It just feels like I'm repeating myself. But because I want to get access to that variable, I get it. But I feel like I don't want to do it that way. I mean, like my heart is like, Mark, that feels weird.
So next time you can use CDK table and it will make this a lot simpler for you.
Why you ain't said that? I said we could use the CDK. I said it was a part of our strategy.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right. We'll refactor this next stream with the CDK intact. But if y'all can't wait till next stream, you want me to continue this type of drama, I can. All right. Now we got some weird stuff going on. Okay. So the data row.
Question here. This is a good question. What's the difference between after view init and on init? Like when I use on init, my HTTP requests work, but if I use after view init, they don't work. I don't know about your HTTP requests, but I'll say like on init means your component or your directive has all of its inputs set. That's what on init means. And so most of the time you want to use on init. What does after view init mean? It means all of the components and directives in your components template have had their inputs set. And that's it. And I think people often use like after view init and after content init to do things that are not associated with what that actually means, which is that like their inputs have been set. And so if you are writing kind of the most recent version of Angular, if you're in like version 19 and you're using signals, you should never use after view init, after content init, after view checked, after content checked. And I guess do check as well, but you should really never use do check anyway. Those 5 lifecycle methods, if you're using like all signal stuff and you're using after next render, you should just never need those lifecycle hooks at all, and just use on init, on destroy, and after next render. Speaking of which, we need to remember we probably need to change the name of after render, because we have after render and after next render.
Yes.
Kind of want to change the name of the first one to after every render to kind of better communicate when it runs.
So that's right. All right, I just got a small thing. So it doesn't like me trying to access this property like as an index property. I think it doesn't like that.
You would need the actual like index. So you're just like, can you move your cursor? I can't see your. Yeah, so like your columns is like a data array, right? And so you're getting the object. And so what you could either do is get like the index.
No, columns is just the keys. Yeah, columns is just the keys.
But what is go back up again?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so your data row there is that an actual? Oh, I see. So hover over the arrow mesh again. I bet I know what's happening.
Yeah.
So the types don't line up. Because TypeScript actually wants to prevent you from trying to use string reads on things that are not explicitly typed to be kind of record types. And so it prevents you from doing kind of that kind of metaprogramming thing. And so if you wanted to just ignore that warning, you can put $any and like wrap that around call here.
But what's the right way to fix that? So I could type. I mean, I could put some types in here if I need to, but I feel like that defeats the purpose of like making this a generic component, because then the types are not going to be the same.
But, yeah, like you would need to type like column such that it's like communicating that it's a key of the other type.
Oh, that I do not. I'm not gonna pretend like I know what to do for there. So
yeah, for the sake of the stream, wrap that in $any. I feel like that should work. And if it doesn't, I don't know why.
Ask Gemini. Okay. We're almost at the end of the stream. I'm gonna save my work right here. We will fix this. There may be mini streams because I like doing this type of stuff. Okay, here first. Let me just do something here. Why am I off camera again? My camera has been failing me all day. All right, my camera has been failing all day. Hold on, Jeremy. We're about to wrap up the stream. Hold on. Let me try to get my camera back on. But I wonder the whole value in $. Okay, give me a second. This is
all right. So we don't have any more questions in the chat. Oh, someone asked, is there going to be an ngconf in Melbourne? I haven't heard of one. The Angular team doesn't organize any conferences ourselves. We just show up when people in the community have conferences, and I haven't heard of anything in Australia.
Okay, I'm gonna try this one last thing, Jeremy, before you run out, because somebody just told me what to do in the chat. I like that. Yeah. All right, and then we do this. Oops, do this, and we do this. All right, and no.
Yeah, like it's still gonna try to type check the inside of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure this out though. I know that there is a way to do this, and we will figure it out. As Jenny said, ask Gemini. Why aren't you asking Gemini? We're gonna do it this exact second. But listen to me real quick. How do I stop screen? Okay. All right, just let the data, just the data row, fam. Okay, you know what? Everybody relax. All right, everybody relax. There's a lot of people telling me what to do at the same time. So I understand when my kid is playing sports and like I'm yelling at him and the coach is yelling at him and everybody's yelling. It's like it's hard to know the right thing when everybody's talking to you at the same time. And it was just around the data row. That was right. So thank you to all of you who did that, who gave that feedback. All right. There'll be more of these. I may just stream like solo a couple of times. I really do want to make progress. I don't want this to be like a once a month thing. But first and foremost, thank you so much for all your feedback and all your help on this. This is great. For me personally, I told Jeremy, he asked me, he's like, am I coding or are you coding? I'm like, no, I'm coding. I am coding. And one thing for me that's really interesting is like I just want to build some apps and get really close to understanding how your experience is using our latest APIs. Like one thing the Angular team is excellent at, we're like excellent at building Angular, right? And building framework and strategizing around Angular. And I want to make sure that I'm like spending more time just building apps to get your experience. I did not even know about that. That data anything or the $ any, I didn't know anything about that. That was, I just learned that today. So thank you for that. And thank you all for being here. Jeremy, let's tell the people what you're watching, what you're playing, and what they should be tuning into.
Oh boy, I don't know that I'm watching anything new. Like I know everything I'm watching I've like said before. It's like Taskmaster, Dropout, um still playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's a long game. Playing some UFO 50, which is when I'm on my Steam Deck if I'm not at the TV. UFO 50, it's like a collection of 50 games from
Oh, okay.
from a fictional NES style console from like a fictional developer over the course of the console's lifetime.
Oh,
It's very
okay.
interesting. There's like a bunch of different genres, right? There's like Metroidvanias and tower defense and racers, all kind of like NES era, but created with like modern game design sensibility for the most part. It's very interesting.
Hmm. Okay, okay, okay.
What are you reading, Mark?
Yo, right now I just started reading a book called About Damn Time. It's about like venture cap. It's about this woman who became a venture capitalist after she was like on welfare and like living like on couches and just had no place to go. And she's like, I want to become a venture capitalist. And so it's kind of like her biography a bit. I just think it's so fascinating that somebody could like decide to get into such an, I don't even know how to describe the field, but it's just like so interesting that she's like, I want to be in this like hard to get into space and I have no money to start. And this isn't even like, a long time ago. She did this in like the last like 10 years, which is like wild. So anyway, it's an interesting book. So me and the kiddo, we're reading that one. And well, he's not reading it, I'm reading it. And then he's reading some Dogman books. That's our thing lately. What am I watching? I just started Invincible season 2, which is pretty interesting. And then what am I playing? I'm playing this game in my head. And I'm gonna tell you what the game is at home, friends. The game is me looking at a lot of what I call like kind of spam games. You know what I mean? Where like they all are like the same game over and over again, like riddled with ads. And they're like, you got to run through some like goals or something, and then like your character gets huge. So like my son is obsessed with these games, like watching the videos. He doesn't have them. He watches the videos. And the game in my head is that I can make that. I'm like, I can make that. I'm like, there's no way. Like I can make that. So that's the game I'm playing. So it's a game to myself. I'm playing a game mentally. But really I'm playing still playing Tears of the Kingdom. We cannot finish this game. It's never ending. It's so long. I want to be done. I'm just tired. I want to move on to a different game, but he still wants to play. All right. Now that I've had an emotional breakdown on the camera about playing video games, friends, listen. A lot of people asked questions today that were super fantastic. Thank you for those questions. Another thing I thought was really interesting. A lot of you asked like, "Oh, what should I use? Which is better? What's going on?" Everything is great. Remember that. Like, no matter what you do, everything is great. But here's what Jeremy and I will always ask you to do. We'll ask you to get out there, do your best, and go build great apps. All right, just go build them. Go build great apps. Choose something, go build. Choose Angular, but choose something, go build, and have a good time. And maybe I'll be back with more. You know what? Oh, okay. I'll say this, and then we really will go. And you really will go build great apps. I'm going to try to convince our new team member Devin to maybe come on, and we can continue coding on this app thing, and then we'll turn over some spaghetti code to Jeremy, and then he'll code the next one and implement some features, and have to deal with the wrath of our Angular. All right, friends. But for real though, thank you so much for all your hard work. Have a good time. Have a good weekend. Get out there. Go build great apps. We'll see you next time.